In today's video, we'll be going through part 9 of our physics review. Part 9 is asking the same questions from our previous two videos, and it's asking us to base our answers for this first part from 0 to 50 seconds as stated right here. So, first question is asking us to figure out if it's a positive, negative, or zero velocity. And remember, it's from 50 and 0 seconds. We're looking to the right about here. If we look at it, we can see that all numbers, or all our velocities, it is a velocity versus time graph, so all the velocities from 0 to 50 are in this 0 to 20 range, and 0 to 20 is positive, so we have a positive velocity. So A is going to be positive. B is asking us if it's speeding up, or slowing down, or at a constant speed. Well, an easy way to know if it's speeding up, slowing down, or at a constant speed is first look at the sign of the slope, meaning if it's a positive slope, a negative slope, or a zero slope. Well, we can obviously see that this is a negative slope because it's going down from left to right. So we have a negative slope, and then we can see our values are positive. So we have positive values. When you have opposing signs, this means something is slowing down. But so I'm going to write it slope and values. And let's say you had something which is positive and positive, it's speeding up. And if you had a negative and negative, it is also speeding up. And that is an easy way you could know that if a object is speeding up or slowing down. So now we know that in this scenario from 0 to 50 seconds, it is slowing down. I'm just going to write slow. And then for C, finally, it's asking us to solve for the velocity and to find the velocity of something like this, where you have a changing velocity in your time interval. You're going to do V average, or velocity average, and which is equal to final velocity plus initial velocity. And that's just divided by 2. And we know our final velocity is 0, because that's what we have at the end. So we have 0 plus our initial velocity, which is 20, plus 20, and that's just divided by 2. 20 plus 0 is just 20. 20 divided by 2 is 10. And 10 meters per second is our velocity from the interval of 0 to 50 seconds. Now we finished part 1, let's go ahead and go to part 2. Part 2 is asking us to base our answers off of 50 to 100 seconds, and we're going to base our answers off of that time period. Well, let's go ahead and clear this graph off and go ahead and do part 2. And so we're from 50 to 100, so 50 and 100. So now it's asking us if this is a positive, negative, or zero velocity. Well, what we can do is, again, we're going to do the same thing we did in part 1. We can see that all the values here from 50 to 100 are either 0 or they're negative. So we're going to go ahead and go with a negative velocity. Now let's go ahead and do part B. If it's speeding up, slowing down, or a constant speed, we're going to use the trick I showed you in part 1. If they have the same signs, speeding, and if they have opposite signs, they're slowing down. So in this scenario, we can see that we have a negative slope, and all our numbers are negative, so it's a negative scenario, and we said that's going to be speeding because they're the same sign. Finally, it's asking us to solve for the velocity and use the equation for average velocity. Here, our final velocity is negative 20, and our initial velocity is 0. So we have 0 plus negative 20, and that's over 2, equals negative 20 over 2, which is just negative 10, meaning that our average velocity and our answer to part C is negative 10 meters per second. I hope this video helped. If you believe it did, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you.